Am I the asshole for taking away my uncle's piece of cake? This sounds absurd, but here goes. My brother, sister-in-law, and their 2 kids don't live nearby but come for a visit every now and then. Usually they stay at my mother's place. Since they were visiting, my mother invited us and my uncle and his wife over. I'm always the one who brings cake because I love baking. My late grandmother, my uncles and mother taught me, and I inherited the recipe for my late grandmother's famous and loved apple pie. This time I decided to bring exactly this earlier mentioned pie, plus a smaller one for me since I can't eat gluten, meaning I baked 2 cakes. I've got a 5-month-old baby at home, plus a toddler who likes to help with baking, which made the whole thing somewhat stressful. To reduce the stress a bit, I decided to alter the apple pie a little. For this cake, I need 2 different types of dough. One is used on top to create some kind of decorative layer in which I usually put a lot of effort. This time I decided to just put some crumble dough on top because it's quick and easily to make. The taste should stay the same. Another thing I want to mention is that my relatives love to complain. There is never a "thank you for taking the time to bake some cake for us," but always some kind of "well, this cake is a little dry this time," or "why did you bring this cake and not XYZ cake, because I don't like this one," etc. We went to my mother's and brought the 2 cakes. As we were sitting down to eat it, my uncle took a piece of the apple pie, looked at it and went, "This is not how this cake is supposed to be. This won't taste good. You should have made it how it's supposed to be. I don't like this," and started eating. Don't ask me why, but this time I was just fed up with always hearing complaints but never a thank you. I got up, took his plate and told him, "If you don't like it, don't eat it." Instead of complaining, you should be happy I took the time to make some. I brought his plate into the kitchen and refused to give it back or let him have another slice. This created an awkward mood for a while, but I wasn't willing to back down. Afterward, my mother texted me and told me that my behavior wasn't okay and that I embarrassed her as the hostess and that I should just take the complaints and criticism without a word. Taking away my uncle's plate and not giving it back might have been childish, but am I the asshole? Not the asshole. If it had been me in this situation, I would have grabbed all the plates, dumped them in the trash and said, "Well, he thought it was no good, so no one gets any," then just immediately left the house and gone home. Then when mom get down on you for it, tell her she was the one that should have said something about how they should be grateful that you brought something. But in any case, next time, don't bring anything. My guess is that the complaints will be, "Why did you not bring cake?" At which point I would just leave and tell them on my way out, "You people are so ungrateful that I can't stand to be here anymore." Well, this would probably give them something to talk about for months, lol. If I acted like this, it would also affect my kids who love to be there to see their cousins. Luckily, this whole attitude thing seems to not have reached my nieces and nephews, who are always happy when I bring cake, but they are way too young to get to say anything. I do agree this would affect your children, but it already is, and they will soon be the targets of the bad manners from your family, and this will be even worse for them. Grandparents, aunts, uncles that behave this way eventually destroy the grandchildren as well. Maybe just have the nieces and nephews over to your place, or go to their place without the grandparents and uncle. That way they still get to see and enjoy each other. What a rude, obnoxious man. Your behavior was not only okay, it was perfect. Standing up for yourself is always the right thing to do, and nothing you did was over the top or out of line. Your mother is embarrassed about the wrong thing. You are 100% not the asshole. A disagreement between guests is probably always an unfortunate situation for any host-hostess. I just think she should have not accepted this behavior from my uncle either, especially after I took extra work from her shoulders and bringing freshly baked cake.